were out of the country. They were in Brazil for 2.5 months, went to Serbia for 1 week, then eventually about 2 weeks in the Netherlands, where they took part in the World Championships with a very strong performance despite not making it through to the next round, but gave the likes of Italy a scare. Went out to at least win a set, which had never happened against Puerto Rico, then finally winning a game in the World Championships. You can argue that it was against our African arch rivals, that's Cameroon, but the facts remain, they won a match. We are talking about the Malkia Strikers, and with us in studio is a man who needs no introduction in matters of volleyball and sports in general. He understands it. He's been with the team and always a very instrumental official from the Kenya Volleyball Federation. Mr. Charles Nyaberi, I normally call him chairman, with us here in studio, always ready to take us through what's happening from the world of volleyball. At times I engage him in other issues, but this time round I'll focus on volleyball. Mr. Nyaberi, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon to you. Glad to be here and to share with the Kenyans what the Malkia Strikers have been through and the experiences and benefits from their last outing. We are very, very glad that Kenyans have supported us. The media has supported us, specifically KCB has been very, very instrumental in publicizing our sport and what we do. We're very, very happy to be here. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Exactly, KBC, your true sports partner indeed. Always there, to let you know what's happening from the world of sports and also to appraise you and let you know what to expect. Here, Mr. Nyaberi, briefly, you will be taking us through what the journey was like, going all the way to Brazil and to Serbia. But very interesting news even before we talk about the performance. Mr. Nyaberi, some of our girls attracted very huge attention. Some even never returned back in the country. We are talking about Sharon Chepchumba, direct to Greece, and also young upcoming Veronica Lodge being spotted by a Turkish club. Very interesting and very good news from a volleyball point of view.
It's actually very good. Those are two very good indicators. The two individual players who are also young, they are in their early 20s, both of them. And, they started shining a while back. Sharon has been on top of her game for quite a while, Sharon Chumba. And there have been several clubs. For the last 3 years, she's gotten offers from as far out as Russia, Greece, Turkey. And this time, she signed up with a Greek club, and they were there at the World Championships, and it was with immediate effect. This is like a good indicator because also when we export our players outside, when they come back, it's a big boost to the level of playing. So Sharon has signed that contract, and she's gone to Greece. Then the 23-year-old Veronica Adhiambo Lodge, she started off at the DCI club that was her first break-in club. Then briefly, she had a couple of weeks, I think, trials with KCB, but she settled for Kenya Pipeline. She's also played a lot of active beach volleyball. She's also one of our top beach volleyball players. So in the World Cup, she was very, very good. In fact, the last game we played against Italy, she was actually, against Puerto Rico, she was the top scorer. She had 22 points, way ahead of second place. So these are good indicators. These are good vibes and indicators for volleyball in the country. We'd like, and we expect also in the next few couple of weeks or months, we expect more players also to be signed up, 2-3 more. The good thing is that when they go to a top club, when they come back, that experience really helps to escalate, to lift up, to boost the playing levels of the team. So those are very, very good indicators. We've had professional players out in the past. The first one, I think, was Catherine Mabui, many years. And we also had Uefuafua, then We had Doris Wefuafua in Tunisia. We had the late Violet Baraza also out, and Dorcas Ndasaba. So, you know, it's on and on. The list goes on, but we had a period there where we didn't have a lady player outside. For the men, we're even a bit lucky because we have Enoch Mogeni now in Japan. We have Mike Chemos in the Middle East. Then we also have Abiud Chirchir in Europe. These are good indicators. When people take interest in your players, it means they are cognizant of the level. And when they come back, it's to the benefit of their clubs and also to the benefit of the national team.
I mean, Mr. Nyaberi, looking at the performance in Netherlands for the World Championships, how would you, rate the performance? Because for once, getting a set out of Puerto Rico, in fact, at 1-1, already, one would argue that you had already won something. But stretching Italy, getting at least 23 points from Italy is no mean achievement.
The team did very well. Naturally, we would like to have performed better. We would have loved, our dream was to move into second round. And it looks like by all means, we're on the way there. The performance was very good. We started off, we had a small false start at the African Cup of Nations, which was understandable because it was immediately after the Tokyo Games. There were issues of fatigue and burnout. And we didn't do very well at the Africa Cup of Nations. But then between then and now, thanks to the project that we have, we're embarking on at the moment, we signed a treaty with the FIVB. We're the only country in Africa that was signed in the Volleyball Empowerment Program. This Volleyball Empowerment Project, which is going to run for the next couple of years, is meant to prepare the Kenya team to be strong enough by the time 2024 Paris Olympics comes. And FIVB sponsored our team. They sponsored the technical team of 8 actually, top Brazilian coaches. They came to Kenya. That's where the support started. They handled the team here. Then, first of all, they went to the African Club Championships in Tunisia, and they did the selection. They spotted the players that they wanted. They were here together with our local coaches. They selected the team. They traveled with our team to Tokyo for the Olympics. So it's a group that we've been working with. This Volleyball Empowerment Project, FIVB gave Kenya the equivalent of 13 million shillings in form of technical support. That is logistics and others. Like when the team went to Brazil for 2.5 months, FIVB paid all the accommodation, all the full board accommodation charges, medical, they paid for the coaches. They also had paid for the coaches to come here. Now they paid for the coaches to go to the World Championships with the team. So that is it's a project that is going to turn volleyball around. And we are very glad that FIVB has given us that chance. And since we are just in the middle, we are still going to see a lot more impact from there. We also don't want to forget our National Olympic Committee, which when we failed to secure tickets and allowances from the government, which is unfortunate, but the government has assisted us in the past, and we are grateful. The National Olympic Committee came in and gave us, helped us cost share the tickets because we were meant to buy our own tickets and also give these players allowances. But the best breakthrough is our partnership with Mozart Bet. Mozart Bet allowed us, they signed with us an agreement for technical support worth 10 million shillings. Part of this is what we used to cost share the tickets, and part of it also went to allowances and other things. So it's many partners who have made it possible. We also don't want to forget our Ministry of Sports, because over the years they've supported us. They sponsored the men's and women's team to the Africa Cup of Nations in Rwanda and last year, and that is where we actually qualified for the World Championships. So, and then they've also supported us, our beach volleyball sector, our beach volleyball team. And as where we stand now, we are at the highest point ever in terms of quality of play from our beach volleyball. Because for the first time, Kenya, we first won, in 2019, we won a silver medal in the All Africa Games. We went on now to win the Continental Cup, the Africa Cup, the women's team that is. And then we qualified for the Olympics. It's the first time that Kenya beach volleyball has been to the Olympics. And they gave their best. So it's partnerships, some partnerships have really taken us very far. Government partnership with our National Olympic Committee of Kenya, and above all, partnership with the sponsor, Mozart, and we are appealing to other sponsors to also come on board, because now our profile is up. We would also like to give our thanks to FIVB, our world body, which has enabled us to technically really develop. We have, besides the supporting the team, they also gave us, we have already had two coaching courses, FIVB level 1 and FIVB level 2, 2 months ago. And we have an FIVB coaching and also refereeing clinics for beach volleyball coming up in about a month's time. So it's a journey, and we are happy that we started off well. I want to thank our coaches. I want to thank, first of all, the mother clubs, the main clubs that contributed players. That is KCB, Pipeline, Prisons, and DCI. They contributed players to the pools that went to the Olympics and then now went to the World Championships, because that's where the spade work is done. It's the club coaches that stay with these players most of the time. So we are very, 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 very thankful to all the partners who have contributed one way or the other.
Interesting to note that, Kenya volleyball, Malkia Strikers to be precise, got an eye from FIVB, and was sponsored in Brazil for 2.5 months. How beneficial was the camping in Brazil?
It was top class. Everything was standard. From, you're talking of the meals, the nutritional aspect,
the facilities.
It was controlled. The facilities, the training facilities, the competition, the people that they were able to play friendlies against, the coaches, the strength and conditioning, the injury avoidance and injury management, gym works, everything was to standard. And it didn't just start in Brazil. They started as of here because granted, we've been using a rather traditional shortcut, and now even our coaches and even the players, they know how to get ready for a big event. And that was very, very good. That's why, like, even players like Veronica, who are making their debut in the national team, they improved so much within those 3 months, to the extent that they were able to catch the eye of very, very, very top clubs. And then also, at the same time, you see, when a team stays together under the ideal conditions that long, there's a lot of teamwork that gets built up. Here, unfortunately, we have very few days access to the indoor facility. We have very few training days as a team. And even when we go out there, we are not as prepared as we were this time around. So it's an ideal thing, and I think it's something that since the project is still going on, the project is still running, it is not even gone halfway, and we're the only country in Africa that was picked. And the honor went even as a notch higher. During the FIVB World Volleyball Congress, the team was paraded before the Congress by none other than the President, Ari Gracia, where he paraded them, and He expounded on this project that we have signed with them, and said the benefits and the plans they have, so that, for Africa, we were picked, and as well as the Senegalese men's team. But ours is more complex. Ours is more detailed. So it's a big honor, and we hope, and that only came because of our performance, because the performance caught the eye of the world leaders.
Let me ask Mr. Nyaberi, with the input that you've seen from FIVB, and you say it's still continuing, if it continues the way it is at the moment, where do you see Malkia Strikers in the next 5 years to come?
I see us in the next 4 years, and the good thing is that we have a very balanced mix when it comes to the players that we have on the team. We have, of course, top cream of experienced players who could be exiting anytime, but that should not be a worry, because we have a lot of players who are in the early 20s and middle 20s, which means for the next 4 years, save for unfortunate instances, maybe of injury or anything like that, they'll still be there. So we see ourselves going very far, but at the same time, we'd like to see a situation whereby locally we also complement the effort and also the benefits that are being handed to us by FIVB. We hope to have a more vigorous local league. We also are looking at going down to the age groups and building up more players to transit into the senior team. We see ourselves as not just an African powerhouse, which we have already been for many years, since 1987. We see ourselves now as competing at par with the other people, because teams like Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, there's no reason why they should be in a class higher than us. They are third world countries just like us. Dominican Republic, in fact, the GDP is even lower. A few years ago, Dominican Republic was very many slots below us in world ranking. But now, they are a force. Puerto Rico, the same. So we want to climb slowly, one step at a time, one ladder notch at a time, but we want to see ourselves as a powerhouse. Above all, we want to qualify for the Olympics 2024, not just to go and participate the way we've done, perpetually for many years. We want to go there and make an impression. We want to go there and make a point and get a respectable results. Just like I always say, some pundits some people who are cynical they say, you guys, you just go there and you get whitewashed. We don't look at it like that. We compare our set of results from year to year. Fine, we didn't move to the second level, the second round, which was our dream, but we got out with our heads up, because the individual results, were commendable.
Mr. Nyaberi, let me take you some years back, to just prove what you're talking about. Some years back, when Kenya Volleyball Federation brought up the Malkia Strikers, Queens of Africa, then support came in through National Oil. The Malkia Strikers went into the Grand Prix, ended up winning matches with very good support. Now with FIVB coming in, already that can be seen pushing Italy, very big powerhouse in volleyball, women volleyball, getting a point, a set out of Puerto Rico, no mean achievement. You're now clearly saying your target is the next Olympics 2024, to go out there, not to participate, but to create an impact. As a federation, have you already started working in terms of having continuity in the team to see that if the experienced aged players get out of the scene, you already have young ones like Veronica coming in, you have Chumba also coming in. Have you already started working on a transition to ensure that come 2024, you will have the creme de la creme of Kenyan women volleyball?
We actually, the only way we can get anywhere is to plan ahead. And that is why we have a dream and a plan to go down to the age group, put more emphasis on age group competition. Work with some of our affiliates like Kenya Secondary School Sports Association, Kenya Primary School Sports Association, and Kenya Universities, who are usually our very good partners. We have to have a very strong reserve of youth, of juniors, who can then compete for slots so that when they transit into the national team, they are not going to start from scratch. They are, like say, 2/3 ripe, to move on. And then at the same time also, we had a training. We have had 2 very unique trainings for our coaches. We had one that was conducted by a top Kenyan who lives now and plies his trade in the Philippines after staying many years in Japan. We had Godfrey Owese Okumu, who ran a high-performance course here for our top club coaches. We want to run more of those. We ran the first ever strength and conditioning course that was run by Jeff Onyi at ABSA Club in Ruaraka. We want to do more of those. We want to put our coaches through the other aspects outside ball work. And for ball work, we also want to expose more of our players, especially the senior ones. We have already started because like the last FIVB level 1 course we had active players like the current Malkia Strikers captain, Massimo Im. So that when they transit, when they stop playing, then we'll find slots for them to go and coach and impart skills to the young people. So it's a matter of putting more emphasis on the youth, having courses for coaches who coach the youth so that they can be able in aspects of talent sporting and talent developing. Yeah.
As we look at that, we are also looking at expanding the technical expertise and the technical know-how from a Kenyan point of view. You had Coach Paul Bitok, very experienced. You had Coach Munala out there in Brazil and also ended up in Serbia and Netherlands.
Yeah.
Did they get an opportunity for exposure to learn more from, a technical point of view?
They got a lot because they were actually working side by side with the technocrats, the 8 coaches who had been seconded to us by FIVB. Before that, there was the other 3rd coach, Jos Baraza, who is also a top coach. And what we want to do is get the coaches who have gotten that exposure to also pull along the other coaches, share with them, this kind of expertise so that the pool grows bigger. Because the bigger it is, the more talent they'll be able to churn out. The coaches are very satisfied with what they saw and got and they learned. And they were not like junior partners in this thing. They were actually at par with the other coaches, and they were observing and learning and also participating, because they're also top coaches on their own right. So what they got from that and what they got at the Olympics and before the Olympics, we'll have to set a stage for them to impart that, to share that with their other local coaches, and also especially coaches of the lower junior cadre.
Let's now look at what to expect in terms of bringing up a very strong team and looking forward to the same. But before I engage you on that, it would be wrong not to mention the men's team. Because true. When you're here, you talk volleyball in
that
general.
Is true. That's right.
You are in Rwanda, with the team. For the first time, Kenya managing to beat Egypt. A powerhouse in Africa. Are you confident that very soon, our men's team will also be at par, and many will be talking about a future team that will, push other African teams to their core?
Actually, unfortunately, very little is said about our men's team, national team, whom we call now Wafalme Stars. Their adage that they train and compete under is Wafalme Stars, the dream is on. And they are already on track. As individuals and as a national team, they are already on track. We have the top teams, also the clubs, also waiting to shine. And what is happening is that, like now, what we saw in Rwanda, it was actually just by bad luck, because like in our pool, we beat Egypt, we beat Tanzania and the other team. Then unfortunately we lost to Morocco. So what we are looking at is giving our team, our national team, a chance to play together as a team. You know, get more opportunities to play as a national team. And we are looking for cases whereby we can get maybe a sponsor. The team goes out, a sponsor for us to be able to host some of this. And then there is also the Zone 5 Africa Cup of Nations. We are hoping to participate in that early in the year. We'll put our team in for Olympic qualification and also hope to do well. Our individual players, they're quite like 4 or 5 who are already out there in top clubs. When they come back and reinforce our team, we'll get there. But above all, we want to have we have a very vibrant men's league going on, and we concluded it, and there's a rest time. When we resume, we'll play and hope that we'll be able to put at least half of the matches indoors. That's our biggest drawback, because as much as outdoor volleyball is entertaining, it doesn't do the squad a lot of good, because those conditions are not ideal, they're not the standard. Then you go playing against people who are indoors throughout. But that notwithstanding, our team has a very bright future. Our team that was under coaches Tarus, and then there was a veteran David Lungao, Mtu wa Nguvu, and then we had also the trainer Elisha Aliwa, and the other assistant coach Sami Mulinge. These are also very experienced coaches, and we are looking at a scenario whereby now in the next phase, next year we actually have, I forgot to say that we have a very big assignment coming up. In next year we have the All Africa Games. So the first task is to prepare our men's and women's team to qualify for the All Africa Games, which will be held in Ghana. And to do that, we'll be working on a program whereby the league will kick off, be competitive, and then we shortlist a national team that will take those assignments. We also are looking forward to a Zone 5 club championships for men and women. God willing, we might be able to host that as well.
Interesting, because when you look at the Kenyan league, very vibrant. You've mentioned Coach Tarus with Lungao bringing up the men's team very well, and you are in Rwanda with some very good performances. Yeah. Now the ladies have gotten support for the good performance that they've earned all through in Africa. Let's talk about the win against Cameroon. Based on the performance that you saw from Brazil to Serbia, and in the African Championships, where Cameroon has always been a scare for Kenya, beating Kenya at some point, would you look at the win that Kenya had against Cameroon in Netherlands, clearly showing that some good work has happened and very soon they'll not be a threat for Kenya, or was it that close?
No, actually, what happened is that last year in Rwanda, the Cameroon team beat us twice. They beat us in the preliminary round.
Correct.
And then we worked hard, and we met again in the finals, and they still beat us. So turning the tables on them with an emphatic 3-0 win at the World Championship level, and there was no time where they really posed a real threat. That is already an indicator that in between Rwanda and the World Championships, a lot of work was put in by both the players and the coaches. That is actually the first indicator for us that our outing in Brazil, those 2.5 months, in the volleyball empowerment project, and also the stopover in Serbia. Let us not forget that Brazil and Serbia are some of the top horses in volleyball. So by the time they were headed to the Netherlands, they had had the best exposure anybody could have. And God was on our side, because at some time, at some of the stages, it looked like the dream would die off because of lack of sponsorship. But then this one was resolved. So it's good progress, and we hope to have similar stints of training, similar brackets of training, so that our team can measure themselves against the best in the world.
Let's look at this, and remember, KBC Channel 1 will be airing live the World Cup matches, and in a short while, I'll just test Charles Nyaberi's know-how. He didn't see this coming.
You always do that. This time I'll perform. This time I'll do better than last time.
Test his skills in terms of, his know-how of the World Cup. It will strictly be the World Cup. Nothing to do with volleyball. So don't worry, Charles. We'll throw you in the deep end just to test. Remember, it's coming live on KBC Channel 1, but that's coming up in a short while. He hasn't seen the questions. No one has seen them, apart from myself, who has it, the questions here. But we'll throw him in the deep end and just test his, skills from a football point of view. But Charles, now let's quickly look at the preparations. You have the leagues that are coming up, very vibrant. DCI came into the scene, very good performance. KCB, Kenya Prisons, Kenya Pipeline. On the men's side, GSU, very vibrant league. What should we expect, from a league point of view now that players are back, and soon it will be action galore? Okay,
for the men, we broke off about a month ago. We completed the league, which was won by GSU, and KPA were runners-up. Then Trailblazers, which is a new team, totally new team, they broke into the top 4. They were in the playoffs. And also we had Prisons Kenya, which is a powerhouse in the country. So besides those ones, there are also 2 very close competitors. We have Equity Bank, which is a formidable team. Then we also have Ulinzi. We have other teams like Kenya Forest Rangers, which also, give very good competition. We have Nairobi Prisons. We have quite a good number of teams. The advantage with the men's team is that there is a huge number of teams. We have 16 teams in the men's league. So there's a lot of competition. In the women's team, league, we have unfortunately got just 8 teams. But even those 8 teams, the competition is top-notch because, between those 8, they actually produce the national team. And the places are very competitive. It's not easy to break into the national team Malkia Strikers. So what is going to happen is that this league of ours, we're still shopping around for a corporate sponsor. We hope to get one. And when that happens, we'll go back to the days, the nice days you mentioned. You mentioned the days of National Oil Corporation. We were able to do a lot with the sponsorship from National Oil. We also are very happy to get sponsorship from Zuku at some stage. And right now we have Mozart, although the Mozart sponsorship is strictly for Malkia Strikers. But we hope to also be able to sell our other products, including the 2 national teams for men and women, and then also the juniors, the junior teams for both gender cadres. So we are working. We've just come out of an executive committee meeting. We're working on a schedule. What happened is that after Netherlands, the girls were given time off. The ladies were given time off to go and rest, and also reunite with their families, and very understandably. So what will happen is that on 22nd of this month, we'll have a meeting to work on the new schedule for 2022, the league for 2022. And then after that, after meeting those stakeholders, we'll see what happens.
Well, they're looking forward to the leagues, and can't wait to see which team will KPA continue with the dominance. Not the dominance, but GSU for the same. The ladies side, Pipeline, Prisons, DCI, KCB. Very interesting indeed. But for now, as promised, let's just test, Mr. Nyaberi's skills in football. Wherever you're watching us from, those watching from car parkings, from, their homes, anything can happen. This is that moment that we test your knowledge. Remember, it's coming to you live, on KBC Channel 1. We'll take Mr. Nyaberi through a quickfire section, which is 10 questions that will be coming to him. You can as well get your answers, and let's see if you have them right. Mr. Nyaberi, question number 1. This is all to do with the World Cup. When did Kenya last play in the World Cup?
They've never played in the World Cup.
Never played in the World Cup, correct.
only qualifiers.
Only qualifiers. Yeah. Question number 2. Name at least 2 African countries taking part in the World Cup.
Cameroon.
Correct.
And Egypt.
Egypt not in there.
Okay, then it's got to be Cameroon and...
At least 2.
Yeah,
Cameroon is 1.
Nigeria?
No.
Morocco?
Yes, Morocco. Yeah. The 5 African teams in the World Cup, you have Tunisia, Morocco, Senegal, Ghana, and Cameroon. Yeah. The next question, which country is hosting the World Cup?
Qatar.
Qatar, correct. Which local station will be airing the World Cup live on your free-to-air channel?
My favorite station, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC.
KBC, your true sports
formerly
partner.
known as VOK.
VOK, Voice of Kenya, in the good old days. The next question, who are the current defending champions of the World Cup? Hint, Alelo Blue. They call themselves the Alelo Blue.
France?
Correct. Yeah. France is the country. The next question. Sadio Mane of Bayern Munich is the captain to which African team in the World Cup? Senegal or Morocco?
Senegal.
Correct. Which is your favorite football team, club?
Man U, any day.
Followed
by Bayern.
The question is, can either Manchester United or Bayern win the World Cup, and when?
Bayern are likely. Bayern have higher chances. But World Cup, no, not World Cup. Sorry, no. Neither of them can, because they're not a national team. Sorry, I was looking at a club.
That's a good one. I was waiting to hear Bayern will win.
No. Neither of them can, because they're not a national side.
Spot on. Thank you very much. I thought I would have gotten him there, but he got back on track. Neither of the clubs can win the World Cup because it is national teams. Correct, Mr. Nyaberi.
Thank you.
Question number 8. The oldest African player to ever score in a World Cup is A, Roger Milla or Mo Salah?
Roger Milla.
Roger Milla at the age of 41 scored in the World Cup. Those who remember scoring against the great Rene Higuita of Colombia in goal. Question number 9. When is the World Cup starting? Which month? Is it November or December?
November.
And to be precise, November 20th, ending on December the 18th. The last question. The only African country to ever host the World Cup is?
South Africa.
Which year?
1990.
Not 19.
No, 2006.
2010. You are almost there. 2006. That's a good one. You've gotten 8 out of 10. Not a bad one. 80%.
I've improved. Last time I only got 4. Your quick fire was very... I'll go and work on. I'll work on my nini.
At least you're getting better.
Next time when I come here, I'll get 100%.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Nyaberi. 8 out of 10. The most interesting one was which club? Bayern or Manchester.
I almost.
You're going.
Almost fell for it. Yeah.
Mr. Nyaberi, your parting shot.
Yeah, our parting shot is that we'd like to thank everybody who's made our work possible. The last 4 years, they were 4 very difficult years, because half of the time was eaten away by the COVID-19. And we'd like to thank, first of all, the sponsors of the clubs, the sponsors of the tournaments that we've had, both large and, branch and others. We'd also like to thank the coaches, because the coaches both at club level and at national team level, and all the support. We'd like to thank all our referees and branch officials and national officials who give up a lot of their time to make things happen. Above all, we'd like to thank the parents who allow their children to get in there and also to support them. What I'd like to say is that Kenya Volleyball has now expanded. Actually, now our scope is very, very, very broad. We have now a very well organized national circuit for beach volleyball. And we have stops, almost 10 stops now. And we'd also like to thank all those people who have established facilities. We'd like to thank our government, FIVB, and National Olympic Committee of Kenya for the support. But we'd like to appeal for more support. We have standards that will give you value for your money. And we also want to thank KBC and the other Fourth Estate people for giving us the exposure, which is what will give us attention, which will make us, and also finally, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to come here and talk on behalf of our federation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyaberi. We appreciate you making time, and congratulations, 8 out of 10 questions. I can see there are those already sharing very interesting insights that at least we got 9 out of 10. Congratulations, you beat Nyaberi 9 out of 10.
I'll beat them next time.
Thank you very much. We have been having with us in studio Mr. Charles Nyaberi from Kenya Volleyball Federation, giving us an update of what's happening from a volleyball scene. A lot of good stuff happening. The team just back from Netherlands, where at least 2 Veronica and Chumba getting, very good contracts are going out. On behalf of everyone who's been behind this transmission, the transmission controller, the producer, the director, the camera ladies, the cameraman, we want to say thank you very much for having kept us company. Remember, it's only 43 days to the World Cup and it's coming to you live. Immediately after this, we'll be giving you a flashback Saturday where we are taking you back to, 1994 in the road to Qatar.